Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Tech Tip Tuesday. My name is Ken Close, Healy World Member USA. It is the 26th already, rounding the end of the week. This is the last one for the month of March, right?
Yeah.
Time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? I am joined by our awesome co-host, Jake Barron, Head of Operations for Americas. Hey, Jake,
Hey,
welcome.
Ken. Good evening, everybody.
Thanks for being here. And as usual, we have a customer service representative in the background. Is it Anthony tonight? Is that who's here with us?
Yes, Anthony from
Woo.
our great tech support team is here to help.
Right on. Woo, woo. Everybody give a big high five to Anthony. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. So here's what this is all about. Tech Tip Tuesday is a chat-based forum where you guys come on live. You get to put your questions in the chat. And then myself and Jake and Anthony will unpack those questions. We will solve those fun mysteries and we'll get you back online again. How about that? We always talk about all kinds of cool stuff and usually expand on things a little bit more so that we can help expand your understanding. The key thing here is with Healy is the more you know, the more you can use it, right? In different ways. What we can't do though, is we can't really talk about anything medically driven, such as diseases, disorders, or diagnoses, anything like that. So we can't give you recommendations as to what program to use for what condition, but if you don't know, we do have a great resource for that, and we can certainly talk about that. So if you do have questions about certain conditions, it's okay to put those in there. We will guide you to a resource, which is a database. It's tremendous for assisting. Okay. So hopefully that sounds fun. You ready to get going, Jake?
Let's get started.
All right, here we go. Party time, everybody. Okay. So let's see. We already have a big old long question here. Referring to the Healy Blue Dot or the Heal Advisor Analyze app freezing up. This happens right after the downloading of the cloud. So in other words, folks, if you don't know, when you open the Heal Advisor Analyze app, it does an automatic download and then opens and you can utilize it. Okay, so what's going on here? It says that this occurs whether I'm using my regular cell phone or my two other cell phones in the house. So Christian and you have been
Anthony.
well, this person's saying that Christian
Oh, sorry. I can't see the question because it was I guess it was sent before I
posted
joined.
it was posted before you got here.
Got
So
it. Okay.
apparently this person was working with Christian
Okay.
and thought that they had it all fixed on Tuesday, but last Saturday it showed up again, freezing on me. And this is really an issue when um, the corrupt iCloud, since it becomes between the cell phone and the Healy unit. So let me tell you first of all about the cloud, folks. The iCloud on your smart device, which you're talking about an iCloud, that means you have an Apple. And the cloud that Healy has are two completely different things. They are not related. Okay. So the iCloud on your cell phone is when we talk about a cloud, right? This is not some apparition in the sky. This is a server. All right. A server is essentially a hard drive somewhere in the world, and it is unique to a particular entity or company, right? Like iCloud is Apple's way of storing content that is allocated to each Apple user. So each Apple user has an account, and that Apple account is unique to one person. All right. Now, they have privacy sharing guidelines and all kinds of stuff, but Healy is a medical cloud. It's a secure cloud that even Healy can't get into. All right. The only person that can get into your account is you, and the only way you can get into your account is with an authentication process. Okay, so they will not mix. They do not mingle. even if you're having a glitch, if worst case scenario is the iCloud that is assigned to you winds up being corrupted and it's gone, you'll just never have access to it, or anyone else will have access to it ever again. Right now, that's rare. So during some of the transition phases, there were some accounts that I guess went away, but it's rare, very rare. So just understand that's a very secure cloud, and the only way to access that is to put in your credentials, right? When you log in, and it's going to send you an email with an authentication code, and you have to put that authentication code in perfectly within a time frame, right? Perfectly within a time frame. You can't put any other digit in there, and you're the only one that gets it. Why? Because it's your email address. Okay. All right. So I just want to make sure everybody understands that. I hear a lot of concern. I've heard it many times. It's worried about information being corrupt or lost or shared. Nope. Nope. Not in the Healy iCloud. Not going to happen. I'm sorry.
What was the question? Would it freezes
Well,
up after they open the app and it syncs? Is that what
yeah. So
the
after the Healy Advisor Analyze app is opened and it syncs and then
yeah,
freezes.
okay.
Okay. So that's the what's going on. So the question here is, can a guy delete a blue dot portion of, they're saying the cloud, but if
Yeah.
can you delete the blue dot portion of the app? Let's call it the app. It's not necessarily data. The blue dot itself is a program. It's on your smart device. It's a program. Now the program, based on your authentication, is allowed to access your Healy account only based on your authentication. And then that app, by the way, folks, is actually just a skeletal structure. It's worthless until it has a login credential. Once it does that, then it gets populated with the content. That's the download from the cloud. And it's unique to your account because it's authorized by you only. So then your system gets populated by the content of the cloud in Healy, the Healy. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah.
Then if you delete the app, your content in the cloud is not lost. It's not damaged. It's not lost. It's not corrupted. Nothing happens to your information in the cloud. It's just any information that was on the app when you deleted it that had not been synced to the cloud will be lost. Okay. So when you create a new client in the app, if it's not synchronized with your cloud account, that new client will stay in the app. And then when you delete the app, if you delete the app prior to it being synced, then that new client and this content will be lost. Okay. So that's the only way you really lose anything. If that makes sense. So don't be afraid to delete the app and reinstall it, making sure that you have the latest version of that app. And the way to do that is that you go to your app store. So if you delete an app, whether it be the Healy Advisor, aka blue app, or the Healy 2 app, the pink, when you delete it, you want to make sure after deletion that you shut your smart device off and then turn it back on. And the reason for that is because it clears the cache and all the content and the things associated with that app, so that when you reload it, a new version, there's no details from the old one. Okay. All right. Does that make sense? Okay. So, and I think that, let's see, I haven't scrolled down to see if Anthony's probably on top of this.
Yeah, also, mention that this popped up. I think, what did they say over the weekend? This popped up again?
Yes, just this last Saturday.
Yeah, so if they haven't checked, there was an update to the Analyze 2 app yesterday. So one day ago, version 2.3.0 was released. There's some minor optimizations and things like that. So as Ken mentioned, if you are deleting the app, when you go to reinstall it from the App Store, it should be the most recent version. Or of course, you can also do the update via the App Store. If you just go to the App Store instead of download, if you already have it installed, you'll see the blue little box that says update, and you can go ahead and update to the most recent version too. But yeah, it seems like at this point it might be best to just delete it and reinstall. When you reinstall it, type in your email, your login information. You'll get that 6-digit code sent to your email. You type that in, and it'll pull all of your data back into the app, and you'll be good to go.
I want to also dive into just a little bit about some stuff that we need to be responsible for on our end as a user and as a smart device owner. The Healy apps, and you probably have heard me say this before, those of you who are regular listeners here, the Healy apps are what in the technical world I would call it resource hungry. Okay, resource hungry meaning that it needs particular resources on your smart device to function. And those resources are called memory. Okay, the way that your smart device utilizes an app is that, like, when you touch the screen, that's actually a program command. Okay, so when you touch the screen, like we all have these touch screens, right? When you touch the screen, that's a program command, and the way that you touch the screen, like double tap, long tap, sliding actions, all that kind of stuff, is also different commands to the program. So each program utilizes a certain amount of memory on the smart device to function. There's also a CPU or a processor in your smart device. Okay, so that processor needs memory to function as well. So once you tap the screen, those commands go into essentially a memory, a cache, and then gets translated into what to do. And then the processor tells the screen what to display. I mean, all that stuff's happening at the speed of light really quick. All right. Well, the Healy apps do a lot of stuff in the background too. And so if your smart device is very tasked in terms of amount of memory available. So let's say you have a 64 gig memory in your smart device, right? And you've used 63.8, okay? You don't have very much memory. And I say this all the time. You need to have about 25% of your overall memory available and clean, not used, so that the Healy apps can function efficiently. Number two, you can't have 75 apps running in the background at the same time. Guys, every one of these apps that are running in the background consume resources. And they're constantly doing things that you're not even aware of, like utilizing your Wi-Fi bandwidth or your cell data bandwidth to go out and check a memory location, aka a cloud, like we're talking about, and pulling in content to make sure that your app is up to date every moment. So I'm going to ask you guys this. I mean, you don't have to, you can virtually raise your hand or just virtually say inside yourself, yes, that's me, or no, that's not me. How many of you guys know how to hard close an app? How many of you know how to hard close an app? Woohoo! Okay. If you do not, I'm going to make one simple guarantee. You have too many apps running in the background right now. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Okay. So if you don't know how to hard close an app, it doesn't matter what platform you're on, Android or Apple, go find out how. And there's an expert, somebody waiting to tell you and show you a video on YouTube right now. So you can put in a YouTube search, how to hard close an app on my Android, blah, blah, blah. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we've showed it also on some of the prior Healy for beginners and beyond. And yeah, I think a lot of people, if you ask somebody when's the last time they shut off their phone, powered it off, and restarted it, never. I don't know. I mean, it's occasionally maybe if it ran out of battery and it completely died and shut off. But yeah, for the most part, it's important every once in a while just to give it that sort of reset.
Yeah,
And start fresh.
we could ask him, how many of you have voluntarily shut off your smart
Yeah,
device?
voluntarily, yes.
But, it didn't just die because you didn't charge it fast enough or plug it in fast enough. How many of you voluntarily? I recommend doing it every day. Every day there's
Yeah.
updates and things. So,
And Ken, you also mentioned many times the importance of shutting off and resetting your Wi-Fi router at home, the network,
Correct.
just to reset it. And a lot of times it might be operating slow, and a reset will really just improve the overall speed and performance.
100%. Just because the provider, your internet provider that has given you this wireless Wi-Fi system, or even whether you're doing Wi-Fi or you're doing a LAN wired network, there are still certain things that that provider updates, and they will send those updates down. We'll just call it down the wire, right to your account. And it's up to your hardware to take that update and then do a reset. Now, some of those updates require a shutdown. And so if you don't actually power down your hardware, it never does actually do the update.
Yeah.
So, all right, what do we got?
I love
Maria,
this question from Maria here. It says, I've been charging water for plants close to my drinking water. So she's activating the water using the MagHealy water application on water, specifically the plant program, close to her regular. So she's got maybe the pitcher of water here with the MagHealy, and her regular cup of water is here that she drinks. And she wants to know if she's drinking plant water instead of kidney charged water, and can the water take on two different charges? This is a great question, because we always say to have, when you're activating the water, to have the MagHealy on top of the water vessel, whatever it is that you're using, because that's the strongest source is right underneath at the bottom of the MagHealy, and the waves go down from there. So that's the most concentrated section, but we've also talked about too that it's not confined only to that little, as Ken's showing here on the screen. That's the setup that you want to do there when you're activating the water, but that doesn't mean that it's only in that one little cylinder space. There is some magnetic wave energy that kind of goes beyond that. So it's a great question. That if maybe you have your water that you previously activated for the kidney program, and now you've got some sort of influence from the plant water activation close by, as far as what that would do. Would it change it, or does it need to be directly on top for that to have the most impact there?
yeah, so here's the MagHealy. If you guys have never seen one before, this is what it looks like. It's got a flat bottom. It's got kind of a contoured top with some recesses built into it, some lights on it, that kind of thing. And the idea for the application to the water, or even to your body, and if you have a MagHealy and you're using it and you look at the app is going to show you sometimes to place the MagHealy on your body, right? Depends on the program you're running. When you're running it with water, you have a water container, a vessel of some sort, and you place the Healy on top of it. Now, what we need to understand is inside the Healy is this magnetic generator. It's a magnetic wave generator, frequency generator. And the design is that it send that frequency out of the generator, but it goes omnidirectionally. Omni meaning up, down, left, right. But because the surface of the Healy is flat on the bottom, and the opening of your vessel is probably flat on the top, it's a very convenient way, right, to set the hardware on top of your water and charge it up. Is it going everywhere? Yes. The frequencies are going out everywhere, but they're also designed, the program itself dictates the intention. It dictates the intention. The intention for the program is for water. Now, if you're charging water that's given to a plant, it's charging the water with specific frequencies relative to some of the plant benefits. Does that mean that it hurts you if you drink it? The same water you're going to give to the plant and you ingest it? No. Does it mean that the water you are drinking right next to that water that's being charged isn't being influenced by those frequencies as well? No, they are. But your body is a super secret energy and DNA decoder ring. It reads information. So what doesn't apply to your body will get negated, or it won't be utilized to 100%. It doesn't necessarily mean that, like if you're sending some of those programs to the plants, and it's for, say, I don't actually, if we look at the water programs, I don't use any for plants, so you'd have to tell me what there is.
Yeah, there's the last program. So there's 24 programs in the water group, and the last one is it's just called plants. So
Okay.
it's not. So basically, her drinking water was informed with the kidney harmony program, and it was next to it informing the water with the plants
Yeah.
program there. So
So will a kidney program hurt the plant, and will a plant program hurt the human? No, neither direction. Again, our body is amazing. We have to give it credit for its intelligence. It has a very specific intelligence, and every cell within your body communicates to other cells, and it does so through water. And it is frequencies of light that moves about that medium of water, intracellular, extracellular, complete organism communications channel. And so this is how we infuse information onto or into the water of our bodies or plants or animals. And our body will decode this content. If there's a frequency that, say, I don't know, promotes photosynthesis, right? It's healthy for plants, but do you know that humans also have a photosynthesis process? Yeah, you do. You do. How do you think your body converts sunlight to vitamin D? It's a photosynthesis process. Okay. So could be useful for you.
yeah,
I like Marjorie's suggestion. We should call them the blue wave and the pink wave.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love it.
I agree. Yeah.
The blue wave and the pink wave.
Yeah,
Not
of course, the dot is the sort of the holdover from the original versions of the apps that had an actual blue or pink dot on them behind Ken's uh, head there. There's the pink. Yeah, yep. So yeah, blue wave and pink wave. I love it. Definitely more appropriate for the most recent versions of the apps.
Yep. So Trudy says lost programs after update. Oh, okay. So now sometimes there is a time limit for certain programs that you get when you first start. I don't know. I don't know what we've had lately where you would get a trial period. But if you lost programs and there's maybe it's something you've paid for, then that's definitely a customer service ticket. So, what programs did you lose? And I mean, I have multiple Healys. And so when I engage a particular Healy in, say, my pink wave, I'm going with it with the pink wave. Like one Healy version doesn't have the same programs as the other Healy version. And so some of my programs will be not available that maybe I just had available when I was engaged with a different version, right? But if you just have one Healy and you lost programs, we need to investigate why. What'd you lose? Definitely if it's something you paid for, we need to talk about that. If it was a subscription of some sort that didn't get paid for, maybe by accident or whatever, I don't know.
Yeah, and it looks like it was one of some of the databases from the Analyze 2 app after the most recent update. And thank you, Anthony, for putting in the suggestion there to just, delete and reinstall that app, and it should bring everything back if for some reason something um, happened during the update itself.
Okay, so let's see, and I think that Anthony's talking about answering Laura's question too about the well-being program.
Yeah, I mean, well, just to briefly discuss that, the Wellbeing program, that was one of the things that was kind of given to everybody as a trial. I forget how long ago that was now, well over a year ago, maybe close to 2 years. But it was one of those things where it would just remain on there until you did an update in the app itself. So it didn't automatically pull it down after I think it was a 90-day trial back then. But yeah, if the app had not been updated, it would just kind of remain there on the program page, even if you no longer had access to it. So as Anthony mentioned, there's no way to manually just delete one program from the list of programs that appear in the app. But if you want kind of just to clear everything out, especially with the Healy 2 app, there's no data saved in there. So essentially you can just fully delete that and reinstall it. You'll just have to go through the process of entering your serial number again or scanning the QR code, and then it'll bring everything back up that currently should be on your device.
Yeah, so follow that process for a second, folks. If you have been just plugging along with your Healy for 2 years, right, and have never done an update, well, first of all, the original Healy pink dot app would no longer be serving you. You'd be having all kinds of glitches and problems, right? And so you would have a certain list of programs. And then when you did an update to the Healy 2 app and a trial period of a specific program group disappears, that's because it essentially expired months ago, but you never did do an update. So, as Anthony said, Healy doesn't like go in and take anything away. It has to be an update so that it just doesn't get added back in after the update process. Okay. So, that's probably why that Wellbeing went away. Yeah, that's the way it works.
Yep.
Okay. And so Trudy's back, and like Jake, you said that there was databases missing. So that's within the
Yeah.
Heal Advisor Analyze app. And Anthony's working with you there. All right. And by the way, folks, if you want to save this chat so that if you're watching the recording, you wouldn't be able to see the content here, the interaction between customer service. And this is why I talk about them live, so that when the recording comes on, you can actually listen to the resolution instead of reading it in the chat. But those of you who are here live, you want to save the chat, click on the 3 little dots down in the chat box window next to the smiley face. And there'll be an option for save chat. Click on save chat. At the end of our call, you'll get a prompt on your screen if you're on your computer or laptop. If you're on a mobile device, that won't work. But then you'll be able to save this chat content if it's valuable to you. Okay. Let's see, where are we?
There's a comment here about speaking of the MagHealy water. Just said Marjorie's had some great success with her clients, charging the water daily, and even sending them home with a bottle of charged water. Yeah, very cool to be able to offer that. And yes, there is a plants program in the atmosphere group as well. So there's one in the water application and also one in the atmosphere application as well. So gotta give the plants some love.
Well, in the atmosphere, understand how that works too. The atmosphere is designed for environment, right? It's not like it reconfigures the hardware in the Healy. I mean, the MagHealy. It doesn't reconfigure the hardware. So the hardware still functions the same way, but it has a different intention. The intention of that program in a atmosphere arena is environment. The intention of one that's specifically for plants, it's specifically for plants that are in that environment. Okay. So, all right. Let's see. Lindley's got one in the blue dot. When I select bioenergetic support, cosmic growth is there on the further info at the bottom of the page, but when I start analysis, cosmic growth is not there to scan. Oh. Yeah, so this is something that's being worked on. You see the Anthony's got some reply there.
Yeah, brand new program just out for less than 2 weeks now, actually. And again, as we mentioned on the prior Tech Tip Tuesdays and in some of the newsletters, it's going to take about 2 months to get it added for everybody in the Healy 2 app. But of course, yeah, the long term, the plan is to have it fully integrated into the Analyse app as well. So just going to take a little bit more time to do that.
Yeah, so it's a rollout process. First is to get the pink app, Healy 2 app populated. It's a bunch to do both at the same time. I don't know, honestly, maybe they are working on both at the same time, but
Yeah, I think so. Definitely want to have that fully added into the database at some point. And actually, well, maybe it's a good time next week. So those of you that have been waiting patiently for the next Healy for Beginners and Beyond, we're gonna do that next Thursday, April 4th, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And we're gonna, as far as the agenda is still being finalized, but for the most part, we're gonna talk a couple of different subjects, but a focus a lot on what's new recently at Healy, whether it's the recent updates to the Healy 2 app. We're going to talk more about cosmic growth, and kind of for those of you that don't have it yet, we're going to show how exactly the program works as far as the frequencies that are being delivered as well. We're going to talk a little bit about some updates to the Heal Advisor app, specifically the Healy demo experience. There was a recent update to that as well to make it a little bit more user friendly, and just a couple other topics. Best way to get support these days, and kind of where to go for that. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about, since it's a popular topic today, the water program for MagHealy as well. Last Friday, this past Friday, was World Water Day, I believe. So, and we can talk a little bit more about the importance of hydration, activating the water as well, because none of this works without water being here to help move everything around. So we can definitely talk about that, especially it's starting to heat up around the country as well, and got to drink more water.
I guarantee you that the majority of humans are dehydrated. That's kind of a common issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting because I do a lot in the performance coaching stuff, and just 3% dehydration equates to up to 10% loss in muscle strength, folks. So if you feel tired, drink water. It's interesting how it literally increases when you feel like your muscles are strong. You don't feel so tired, like your leg doesn't weigh 100 pounds, or you're dragging along. So big deal right there, folks. Here's a question. When running the aura analysis, which one is in the subconscious, the LM, D, or the C? So these are different dilutions. We call it homeopathic dilution. It's a level of consciousness, right? The way that actually works is D is relative to the physical. D, physical, which would be your awareness, your consciousness. D would be the physical. C would be in the emotional or the mental issues, the thought. And then LM is that spiritual. We could call it subconscious or the unconscious. So that, if that helps, that's kind of the sequence, how it works. It gets further and further back in dilution, or diluted from your awareness, right? So we're very aware of the physical, right? How many times have you ever smashed a finger and not been aware of it? You knew it right away, didn't you? Because that painful trigger said, wake up, right? But sometimes the emotional or mental issues, you're not quite as aware because it's such a programmed condition, right? But it's still real and still has an effect on the body. But then what about when we go into the mental and spiritual? There's a lot of unawareness there, but that's more subconscious. Um, there's a training, right? It's in the coaching module. Is that right, Jake? Where
Yeah, so it's in the Healy Academy in the coaching module section. There's some videos that discuss some of this. So it's not in the aura analysis section here, but if you go to, let's see, if you go to Healy Academy, this is in the coach module section. This video here, interpretation of analysis parameters, talks a little bit about the potency, DCLM, conscious and subconscious, and as far as how long you want to run certain programs related to that too. This transmission duration at Healy Coach discusses this a little bit as well. So this information field in quantum entanglement talks, you see here, energy room and consciousness room. So these three here are definitely worthwhile if you want to find out or learn a little bit more about those potencies.
Mm-hmm. I love it. Let's see. I think there was another part to that question that I was just looking at there. Oh, yeah. Lily was talking about this in aurora or aura analysis. Um, can we move the intensity or relevance to the highest after we get the scan, or should we run it with the percentage we got? So the percentages, I get this question often. The percentages that the aura analysis is yielding you are relevance percentages. So in other words, then it's not meaning that when you say go and run some kind of maybe a pink app or a Healy microcurrent frequency that you set the percentage of intensity there. They're not related. So a percentage that is given to you from an aura analysis is a percentage of relevance. Whether it's a positive percentage or a negative percentage will give you clue as to whether it's in the conscious awareness or in the subconscious awareness, whether it be like something in acute conditions with again, which would probably be body or mental or emotional, or is something maybe systemic, like more globally, like in the subconscious, like the LM indication would indicate. That LM indication probably may have a negative percentage. In other words, it might be again something that's that you're aware of, but not really maybe currently working on. Okay, so when we're doing an aura analysis, those percentages are about relevancy. And if you see something that shows up giving you some information there and it's at 95% positive, that means it's super important in your life right now. It's actually having a pretty big impact. Okay, so it does have a meaning in relevance. Okay, where are we at?
Yeah, for anyone wondering also as far as the question, what you were just talking about, Ken, but they were asking, of course, should we run it with the percentage that was there or should we change it? So for those of you that aren't aware, if you have all the advanced settings enabled, you can edit the entries from the OR analysis. So if you go to it, there's three little dots next to each of the results that come up, and you can edit it, and you can change the relevance, you can change the intensity, you can change the potency there. But yeah, so that was kind of the question. Is there any reason, of course, to change that?
Well, remember, okay, let's from that angle too. If you're getting an answer from an objective observer. You're getting an answer. Here is an answer with certainty that it is from your quantum field. What's your driver for changing it? Right? Because now all of a sudden you're placing a subjective action on the result. So is that good or bad? I don't know, but if you're getting an objective observer giving you an answer, why do you want to change it? Do you want to change it? If the answer is yes, then ask yourself, why do I want to change it? Do I not like what it tells me? Well, I'm going to tell you, healing comes from doing things you don't like. It's like we put things in the background. We avoid things to avoid pain, but that's just, again, a coping mechanism to not actually heal. There's certain things that are painful that happened in the past, and we may have buried them. They're coming back to speak to you right now, right? These analysis give you opportunity to use a very specific frequency set from Healy to make it easier for you to align the misalignments. Okay. All right. Where else are we? Some interactions, some help there between Anthony and our questions. Where can I find previous recordings of Tech Tuesdays? Well, that's a great question. And there's an amazing YouTube channel, right, Jake?
Yes, let's go ahead and show that. So if you, let me share my screen first and we can.
Yep.
So this is the Healy World Americas channel on YouTube. You can get to it by going, if you just type in HealyAmericas.com, it'll take you straight to this YouTube channel. You can also find it within YouTube at Healy World Americas, another way to get to it. And then you'll see here when you come to the page, some of the most recent videos are shown there. You see our Tech Tip Tuesday from last week right here. And then if you want to look at, as you refer to the past prior Tech Tip Tuesdays, click on playlist. And then if you go to Tech Tip Tuesday over here, view full playlist. And then you'll see we have 97 Tech Tip Tuesdays here. So just within Tech Tip Tuesday, we have 97 hours of videos here. So feel free to go through, one by one and, knock these out over the next few weeks or months. But yeah, you can just go back to the prior ones. And one of the cool things about these videos is that if you click on them and okay, click on these, and then when you go to the description, you'll see there's a more button right here. You click on more, and it opens up every single topic that we discuss on each Tech Tip Tuesday is hyperlinked. So you can easily just sort of review all the different topics that we discussed, and you can go straight to the ones that you want to watch. So you may want to say, actually, this is a similar question to what we just discussed today. Does running a MagHealy water application on a pitcher of water also have an impact on the water in the surrounding areas? So you can just click on the timestamp over here, and it'll take you straight to that segment, and it'll start right where we were discussing that particular topic. So very easy to navigate as well. So certainly check this out. Feel free to review any of the past recordings, and then also
So, hey, Jake, stay on that one you were just on for a second.
yes.
I just had a question today, which was really cool, that said, hey, how do I go and check for updates for the new Cosmic Growth Program? And I was like, well, as a matter of fact, so if you take and right click on one of those hyperlinks, by the way, folks, you can just copy that one spot
Yep.
and send it to someone. right? So I
Yeah.
had to say how to do that. Well, look at 4 minutes and 43 seconds in, we said how to manually check for
Yeah.
updates.
So right click, copy link address, and then you can send it on to somebody there.
You can send it right on to that person. And I happen to have been like, I was in the middle of something and I wanted to try to help this person out. So I was just quickly went there, right click, send it to them, and they were good.
Yeah. And then also from within here, so if you use this, not the search at the top, but the search right here in the menu bar, this search is just within the Healy World America's YouTube channel rather than all of YouTube. So if you're looking for sort of a more localized search, this is where you would want to put in if you're looking for something specific. So it's another key thing as well. And then for those of you that haven't subscribed, there'll be a little bell icon when you go to this page. Click on that to subscribe to the channel. And then you can also enable notifications. So anytime we add a new video to this channel, you'll get a little indicator in the top right corner of your YouTube page as well. So, and
Huge
then,
resource, you
yeah,
guys.
yeah. And while we're on YouTube, so separate from Healy World America is the Healy World official page on YouTube is an amazing resource as well. You see, there's new videos added all the time. This short section is really cool, and that was just added within the last few months. Where there's tons of content that's added there, and this is also the best place. So, for example, tomorrow there's the next episode of Healy Horizon is tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time. So, if you've seen any of the notifications on our social media channels or in the newsletter of the upcoming Healy Horizon, those are all streamed live in the live section. So you go to Healy World Official, click on live, and then you'll see here Healy Horizon episode 15, Wellbeing and Success, scheduled for March 27th at 2 p.m. And you can click notify me, and it'll give you a notification as well when it's about to start. So tomorrow, if you want to watch this, come to the YouTube channel. And then if for some reason you miss it, you can't watch it live tomorrow, you'll be able to watch the recording in this same section here too. Even though it's the live tab, all the recordings of the live streams are available here as well. You see this one, the Resonance podcast from last week, which is a great episode with Kai, was streamed 5 days ago. You can just click on it and watch it there. All the past Healy Horizons and the Resonance podcast are available in this section too. So this is very, very great content, useful information. Definitely check out these as well, whether you watch it live or you watch it the recordings after.
Some great resources right there, you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so let's see. Thanks, Jake. That was great. Ivy's got a question about the MagHealy and the battery. So we've actually talked about this a bit in the past. The question is, with MagHealy, to maintain good battery life, is it better to run MagHealy without charging at the same time, or does it matter? Such as if you're running an atmosphere program, which is like an infinite time, right? So that's a great question because we want to utilize the battery fully. And to do that, you need to charge it fully and then deplete it fully, and do this on a regular basis. If you leave it on your charging base all the time, you really never get a full spectrum of battery use. And, you know, it could lower the life of that battery. So I always recommend that at a minimum, I mean, it depends on how much you use your MagHealy, but about every third time you completely deplete the battery, right? Every third charge cycle, I guess you might say, completely deplete the battery and then charge it back up again. So in other words, I personally do that almost every day, completely deplete it. And I just time it right. Like I know how many programs it'll do. And the only reason I know that is because I write stuff down. I mean, I'm kind of a technical geek that way. I want to know. But then if I'm going to run a program at night, say the sleep, I'm going to make sure that I have utilized the battery fully, discharged it fully, and then the next charge cycle is I put it on at night and run my program all night, right? And then I take it off in the morning and go through that process again. So just get to know your MagHealy. And your usage should deplete that battery, at least every third use. Okay. All right. And then Anthony's got some stuff there from tech support. Okay.
Back to the question was already answered, but I see below. Thank you, Toby, for answering it was when is Healy Horizon tomorrow? It's 2 p.m. Eastern time.
And Maria's asking, are herbal teas an adequate substitute for water? And here's the thing. We have to look at things from a particle perspective. Now I'm going to go all the way down to the particle. Herbal teas are great. They're fantastic. And you can count a percentage. So if you have a herbal tea and you have 8 ounces, there's a certain amount of that 8 ounces that's actually not water, right? Because you've got particles of your herbs in there. So yes, you can definitely drink that water and count it, but that's not the only thing. Our body's going to still have to separate the particles and be able to utilize just the molecule of water in the way it wants. And that's just how it works, right? The body is a super secret energy and DNA decoder ring. It's going to take the content of your tea and separate it. So if you have honey in there, if you have this particular herb, that particular herb, and water, every molecule is going to have an assignment. And the body is the intelligence. It's going to work on what to do with every single one of those things. So plain water, good purified water, the body has to do less with it. I'll put it that way. All right. There we go. Okay. So Lily's got a question here about, what was this? Let's see. So accidentally, I have transmitted a program in MagHealy when it is in setting 1, I'm assuming. It shows that the program was transmitted. Is this correct? Or does it have to be in 2 or 3? I understand that setting 1 is off. Yes, 1 is off. Anthony has given you information about that. Now, if your MagHealy is on the charging pad, and you can see he's answered this, it's still going to be on.
Yeah, so the basically on the charger overrides the normal offsetting there because it is drawing power, or it's being charged at that point. So
And the same thing holds true with the Healy. When the Healy is plugged in, it's officially on. So you can, but if you try to send a microcurrent program to the Healy when it's plugged in, it's going to tell you, sorry, I can't do that when it's plugged in. The MagHealy is not the same. And the reason it's not the same is because the Healy has the ability to connect microcurrent leads that would connect to your body. And you'll notice that the cabinet on the Healy is designed so you can't plug in the power charger and the leads at the same time, because you should not ever have a path from your AC outlet to your body, right? And that's why you have to unplug the charger before you can plug in the leads. And that's why the app tells you that you cannot send a program to the Healy hardware when it's plugged in. But the MagHealy, different story. There are no leads that plug into this to connect to your body. It uses all magnetic energy. And it even uses a magnetic energy charging system. So you don't plug anything really into the MagHealy hardware, do you? So a little bit different protocol. Okay. What else we got? Gosh, we're already 5:55 in my time zone.
Yeah.
55 minutes past the hour. We got about 5 minutes left, guys.
Another MagHealy water question says, while applying or informing the water with one of the MagHealy water programs, is it enough to just turn it to position 2? It says, I noticed turning it to position 3, the water does not taste as good as position 2. Interesting observation. I mean, yeah, there's no benefit to doing position 3 over position 2 when you're informing the water there. Really, position 3 just activates those lights on the outside, the outer edge of the MagHealy, those LEDs sort of pulsate while you're doing that. But if I wouldn't be able to explain why there's a difference in taste between 2 and 3 as far as what's actually the MagHealy is functioning the same way other than those lights on the outside. But if you're noticing a difference, yeah, there is no reason that you need to put it in position 3 when informing the water. So 2 is perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's actually going to save the battery a bit.
Yeah.
Using position 2 versus position 3, just because you're engaging less of a draw on the battery, no lights, no additional lights. So, yeah. I had not ever heard a change in flavor or a difference, a distinction. You've got high sensitivity, Ivy. That's awesome. I'll bet you're a very sensitive person. Okay. A few more minutes. Let's see. We've talked about the Healy Horizons coming up.
Yeah,
What else?
so Healy Horizon coming up. Well, before Healy Horizon at 1 p.m. Eastern, we have What's Up Wednesday. It's going to be a brief episode tomorrow, should be 30 minutes or less. I'm going to kind of run through everything important you need to know leading into the close of the month. Of course, the last day of the month is on Sunday here, which is Easter Sunday as well. So a holiday weekend for a lot of people. So we're going to give a couple key reminders for everybody, and also, of course, last chance to qualify for the VIP retreat in Mexico in May. Lots coming up here for the end of the month. So definitely, if you can, join us for What's Up Wednesday, 1 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, and then at 2 p.m. Eastern, you can check that live episode of Healy Horizon, which we showed you how to get to on the Healy World official YouTube channel. And then next week, we mentioned next Thursday, April 4th, our next episode of Healy for Beginners and Beyond. And we will certainly share the agenda by next Tuesday, which actually next Tuesday is April 2nd, which is Frequencies and Friends. It's a holiday in a lot of countries, and it's in Germany as well on April 1st, Easter Monday. So we're doing Frequencies and Friends on April 2nd in each of the markets around the world, and we will share the details as well for the final agenda for Healy for Beginners and Beyond at that point. So lots coming up here in the next few days.
Right. And I mean, tell them the easiest way to stay up to date on that with the calendar or the schedule. We've got a call schedule that is updated often. What is that link?
It's HealyAmericasEvents.com
There you go.
is the link to our America's calendar, and that's the most up-to-date place to go as far as our online events, also in-person events, but mainly online events, and it has the links to register for those events as well.
There you go. And the link is in the chat. Thank you, Anthony. By the way, folks, you want to save this chat, just remember, click those three little dots right now, quickly, we're about done. And then you'll see that save chat option on the menu. And then you can, when we're all done, if you're on your PC or your laptop, you will be able to save that to your hard drive. Okay. You have all these links, all these answers, all this feedback. And you'll have the recording here very soon, this week. So you can go back to the recording. All right, guys. Well, hey, thank you so much for being here. Anthony, appreciate your help as always. Jake, awesome co-hosting and hosting with you. I love it.
Thank you.
Yep. You guys, see you next week. Enjoy the rest of your week, and don't forget to tune in to some of our other calls. All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.